up dive. Feel the vibe, get ready to ignite. Untold stories in the airways, flying through the night. Experience voices, tales so bold. Streaming live, the truth unfolds. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's a wide variety. Share and subscribe, join the side where truth can't hide. Aliens in the attic, UFOs in the sky. Cryptids lurking, oh my, oh my. Ghosts in the hallway, whispering your name. The paranormal, the unexplained. Become a VIP, get the inside scoop. Unlock the mysteries, be part of the group. Live streaming stories, they're talking to you. Super chats buzzing, join the crew. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's a wild member ride. Share and subscribe, join the side where truth can hide. So if you've got the guts and you want to explore, tune into the Untold, it's what you're looking for. From aliens to ghosts and all that's unseen. Untold Radio Network, where the world's mysteries convene.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Paranormal Spectrum here on the Untold Radio Network. I am your host, Barnaby Jones from Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society. Guys, coming up this weekend, in fact, immediately following this podcast, I get to hop in the car and head down to Gaze, Illinois for SilCon, paranormal, horror, anime, gaming, cosplay, and cryptids. All under one roof. Woof. I don't know what I'm doing. All under one roof. We are going to be Front Street Event Center, Gaze, Illinois for Friday and Saturday. I will be presenting on Saturday if you guys come on out. We are also going to have the Haydn Adventure Traveling Exhibit on display for those of you guys who are interested in seeing and learning all about Bigfoot in Upper Michigan. It's a unique opportunity to see the exhibit in person. And it's going to be a great time. A lot of other great guests, as well as TV personalities and television, movie, all kinds of stuff, horror, anime, all that cool stuff. It's going to be a great weekend. Come on out and check it out. Then, guys, next weekend, we head to Van Meter, Iowa for the Van Meter Visitor Festival. Saturday, September 27th, there is a VIP walking tour on Friday evening. And I believe there's also one or two walking tours on Saturday, led by Chad Lewis and some of the other speakers there that are going to be taking you around the city of Van Meter, Iowa, showing you all the hot spots where the Van Meter Visitor had been sighted back in the day. It's a pretty good tour. Took it the last time that we were down there. Very interesting. Come on out and check that out if you're in Iowa. And then, guys, this October, we are going to be doing paranormal tours of Bean Snappers, Wisconsin's premier haunted gentleman's club. Over 100 years of haunted history of the building. Tours are available, public and private. You can come out and investigate with your own team or with a group of random people. You can head on over to hauntedbeansnappers.com, click on the spooky side to get all your tickets, or wisconsincaps.com as well. Then coming up, we are going to be October 16th at the Shawano County Library, October 22nd at the Brownsville Public Library, and October 25th at the Neenah Public Library. All these are going to be exploring the paranormal. We're going to tell you all about paranormal equipment, how to properly use it, what it's actually for, and some other cool stuff about, keeping yourself safe and other things about paranormal in general. And afterwards, we are going to be doing paranormal investigations of the libraries. So I know for a fact that the Brownsville Public Library and the Shawano Public Library both have claimed to have paranormal activity. So we're looking forward to that. Coming up next year, Contact Modalities Expo, May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Delavan, Wisconsin. I'm going to be appearing at that. And Fond du Lac, Wisconsin for Wisconsin Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Convention, May 8th through the 10th. Woo! That's all we got there. But now, guys, we are live. Lee says, good Thursday, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great week. Awesome, Lee. Thanks for joining us. And I can say woof if I want. I do not have to drink for that one. Anyway, all right, guys, on with the show. I'm going to go ahead and bring up our guest here. My guest on today's show is the one and only Johnny Vortex from Vortex Paranormal. Johnny is the premier gear scientist, investigator, inventor, and media personality. He has worked with top-tier personalities and teams across the U.S. and continues to advance paranormal investigating through science-based technology. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Johnny Vortex. Welcome to the show, Johnny.
Hey. All right, man, that was quite an intro.
Only the best for you, man. How you doing?
I am doing great. I'm glad to see there's so much stuff going on. I had no idea that you were going to be so busy.
Oh, I am always busy, man. I actually got to meet you for the first time at one of Terry and Danny's events, the Soul and Synergy Expos, or their the big one of the year back in, God, I don't remember. January, February, March, yeah, something like that. It was early in the year. It was that long ago. Feels like I've known you forever now.
It was late enough where I could get the ambulance out and bring it.
Right.
So that was
right. Yes. Do you want? I told you I got the picture queued up. Do you want to tell everybody, start out and talk about your ambulance?
Absolutely. So one of the things I do on the side is a little Ghostbusters troop for Customers for a Cause, and that was a well-established group. But I showed up with this old ambulance one day to a group event, and they're like, "Ever thought of being a Ghostbuster?" Like, already halfway there, So I ended up doing a bunch of work on this thing, getting it all dressed up, and I thought, why not use it for this kind of stuff too? Make a little rolling HQ, as it were. So the inside of this bad boy for paranormal stuff is set up with charging stations, batteries, review stations. Some of the other things I've got going on the side live in there that aren't quite ready for prime time yet. But if you end up seeing me on investigation and it's not 5 below zero, you'll see that bad boy. I'll roll up in that.
It is a very cool vehicle. I've seen it in person at the convention that we were at, and it is definitely unique, man.
Thank you. And I know the first question is always, what is it? So I'll throw that out right away. It's a 1963 Chevrolet Corvair Greenbrier. So doesn't mean much to most people, including people who were around at that time. A lot of people, I didn't know they made Corvair vans. Yep, I got two of them, and one of them is this bad boy.
Nice. My only thought to make it better is take, you see my cursor here? It might be a little small on yours, but
Yep.
right back here on this back panel, I would paint this up into a fin like the Ecto one.
Yes.
That'd be it. That's it. Otherwise,
Take the red stripe and move it up,
just kind of
sticking it
arch
out.
it up like in a fin. Yep.
I love it. I love it. I painted the whole thing myself, so I can go back and modify whatever I need to.
There you go. That'd be cool.
I love that.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Just that little hint of to give it its own unique spin, but still homage to the Ecto. I think that's
absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Enough with the car. It is super cool, man. But tell us about yourself. How did you get started into the paranormal? What got you interested in it?
Oh my goodness. So I was always a fan of ghost hunters and stuff, seeing all that on TV. And it wasn't until I started having some minor unexplainable experiences and some photographs where I really jumped into it and started paying more attention to what was going on, what the state of paranormal study is. The Hollywood movies help too. I always like getting scared a little bit. But it wasn't until maybe 3 years ago I went, I'm in Minnesota. At that time, I was right near Anoka, which is the Halloween capital of the world. Which I think that's fairly well known. That's not just their moniker at this point. But like, you know what, I'm going to go on I love tech. I work in tech. I'm a bit of an inventor. So I wanted to see what kind of doohickeys were out there. Well, the first few minutes, he had all of his gear out, and I picked up a REM pod. And he's like, oh, be careful with that thing. It's like $300. What's $300 about this? If I could squeeze it and flex it. And it was one of the hockey puck ones. Yeah. Hey, what's $300 about this? Immediately that engineer side got going. And yeah, I looked in it, took some photos, did the investigation piece, and did some filming. I ended up being a filmer for them for a while after that. But 2-3 months later of sitting in OpenCAD and doing that kind of work, I released my first REM pod. Oh, the lighting is pretty rough.
You can say it looks good, yeah.
Yeah, this is an empty shell of one, you know, usually lights and stuff. You can go to vortexparanormal.com and see them, and go to Vortex Paranormal YouTube channel and see everything in action, or Vortex Paranormal or Johnny Vortex on Facebook and see some fan photos of these things. But these were custom designed by me, and they got such a good response of durability, usability, and cheap $50 for one of these bad boys, that I was encouraged to go further and keep designing new things, keep finding ways to make old things better, and start going to these events. Gosh, were you at? No, I can't. It was the hotel in southern Minnesota back in January.
Have not been to Minnesota this year.
Gotcha. Oh, that's a shame. But we
tell all your friends to invite me. There you go.
Absolutely. That was one of the places where the whole idea for Vortex was really born. Like, you know, I could make a thing out of this, and a few things fell together at the same time. I lost my day job, and some things started getting better and worse, where I'm really I try to be sensitive to what the world is telling me, and it really looks like it's telling me to do paranormal try to make that work full time. So all summer I've been throwing myself into research and development and networking and getting things set up, got the website set up and all that. So now it's a matter of showing this stuff off to everyone and continuing the R&D.
That's always the hard part right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a lengthy discussion about your REM pods and stuff and what makes them unique and special. Why don't you tell everybody why, like you said, the other one that you were looking at were for $300 flexed in your hand and just mm-hmm. was, why are yours better?
Okay, so the first piece of the VIP REM pod was breaking it over and over again. And that's how I think on the inside it says version 7. We went through 6 versions before I was happy enough to sell the first one. It's literally, okay, I think it's good now. Throw it across the room and, oh God, one of the lights popped out. Okay, go back in, retool, set up a little thing behind the light so it stays in, and whatever breaks, find a way where it will not break again. And that has been the difference. I'm a klutz. I drop things. It's never the ghosts that break my stuff. It's always me. And looking at a lot of this stuff, it's delicate. Mm-hmm. And when nobody's in a very nice Victorian home with nice plush places to put stuff. You're always out in the woods. You're in a graveyard. Stuff is, falling off of the stairs in an abandoned house. This stuff needs to be tough. I call it investigation rugged. So this is, I'm a 3D designer, tinkerer. So this is 3D printed. And it's, if people know 3D printing, this is 100% infill. Way overkill. Way more than it needs to be, but it's heavy and it's strong. And you can toss it across the room without breaking anything with that little bit of plastic flex. One of the first things we did, the battery compartment here, we put these little holes in there so you could actually get the battery compartment out. That was like version number 2. They're like, oh yeah, I gotta change the battery. Oh crap, how do I get this out of here? And it seems like a lot of places just stop research and development. The other part of it was, it started out round, but that's hard to hold on to. And a buddy of mine had a bottle of Bullet bourbon, if you've ever seen their Bullet whiskey, and he's talking with his hands and all over the place. And man, you got a death grip on that bottle. Let me see that. So this one, the VIP, is an oval. So you can grab it and hang on to it. And even if something jumps in, like zoinks, you throw your arms up and jump, you're not going to let go of this. This is stuck pretty well to your hands. And it was development features like that. That really, whenever I show somebody one of these and get it in front of them, they buy it immediately. When I was in Eau Claire, I think before I even met you, they were all gone. Mm-hmm. All 8 of them, 7 of them that I had put together. It's kind of time intensive to put these things together, yeah. But they were all gone and they were all bought by industry professionals. Not a huge turnout at that event, so it was mostly the industry pros, which was a good thing because I got to spend a lot of time picking the brain of mm-hmm. Jason Hawes and his daughter and husband. So that was really good. I learned a ton of stuff. But yeah, as soon as they saw it, they're like, "Can I have one of these?" Like handing them out like stickers. Oh, what else has been a recent development on these? One of the first things we did, what I had done, was watch YouTube videos or TV shows where they're using the pucks, and they'll be talking, and then all of a sudden this screech like clips the microphone, right? just this huge noise. And that's because the REM pods, the little piezo buzzers, are right on top. They're exposed and they scream loud, which is great if you're 3-4 buildings or rooms down and you're listening for it. But if you're doing a focused investigation where your inner circle is right there and you're recording, all it does is clip your microphones. And that's one of the things across all of my designs that I've had to keep in mind. How does this work on YouTube? How does this work on film? So the piezo buzzer is buried inside. And actually the first one was buried all the way in, but it was too soft. We got complaints about that right away from our test guys. Back into the software and dug out a little hole, and we found the happy medium to where you can definitely hear it, but it doesn't make you go, God, geez, what the hell? We're really happy with that, where we found that happy medium. And I say we because Vortex is now 2-3 people, but they are amazing on live things and helping me beta test all of my hardware. But I try to keep a close hand on all of the development. The VIP itself, like I said, I sell these things for $50. That includes shipping. I put these together in about an hour, not including the print time. That's like 20 hours to print this thing because 100% infill, you know. So on each one I give myself $10. So that's where I come up with the $50 price point. I don't have a ton of overhead. I'm not some huge business. I'm not a brick and mortar store, and it's in my opinion ridiculous to try to get rich off of this stuff. You know, I can't imagine the other brands are spending more than $30, $40 on their designs, and so $300 is ridiculous. The whole idea of everything I built, and it started with the VIP, was the idea that good gear should be available to everyone, because it's all about the science, and you can't do good science if you've got crappy gear. And every time you can do some good science, it's another opportunity to prove the existence of the paranormal, to have the best possible evidence. There's always those top 10 questions when you see a video. First one is always, why is this being recorded? What is the situation? The next thing is, what gear are you using? If you're using, I've got an hour-long diatribe about phone apps.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, oh boy, yeah. Anytime I see somebody using a phone app, I just, nope, can't trust it at all. So you have to have gear that you can look at and go, there's no shenanigans going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the REM pod in general, but also very much the VIP. Just good, solid hardware. That reminds me of one of the other pieces. 9-volt batteries, they start going dead. They start losing their voltage. They get cold. And all of a sudden, your REM pod's doing weird stuff. Happens every time. These have a little monitor in them. And it's just little hardware. It shuts off if the voltage gets too low.
Nice.
So you don't get bad readings, false readings. If that voltage gets too low, it's done. And you gotta replace the battery. I've been experimenting with rechargeable batteries and putting a little lithium pack in there, but getting properly up to 9 volts. And it's kind of getting in the weeds, but the lithium polymer packs are 3 volts. You got to have 3 of them in series to get to 9 volts. Things start getting weird and expensive really fast. So to counteract, again, with the questions, right? Oh, that's been sitting on the cement. Your battery's probably cold, and starting to give you some weird readings with these kits. And everyone uses the same little red theremin kit in theirs because it's good science. They are quality, well put together, electronically good physics. So everyone uses those same things, but they are very susceptible to low voltage. So in order to take out the question of, well, is your battery dying? It wouldn't be working if it was less than 9 volts.
Nice. I want to tell you here, just off the top, okay, so Caps, we do a lot of stuff, like you said. We go out in the woods, we do paranormal, we do UFO, we do everything, and we've gotten a run out of our REM pods and stuff. And we have 3 of the red and black ones that everyone pretty much knows, and all 3 of them I have had to cut the top off of and fix all the buttons because they've all pressed in on the top of them.
They're just glued in.
Yeah, they are very shoddily made. I mean, if you just run of the mill, doing for fun or something, it's not a big deal. It's going to last you whatever the heck you get, but you're also paying $300 and some, like you said. Or I think they're like $250 or something at Go Stop or whatever. Are they? I don't know.
What a deal!
Yeah, but like I said, I've had to fix all 3 of mine. And if I didn't already own so many of them, I would definitely have several of yours as well. But yeah.
Did I give you one at Eau Claire?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm sending you one.
Oh,
because if you've got a bunch of different ones, my favorite thing is sending them out to people who are out in the woods and using the hell out of them, and just getting reports back, comparing and contrasting the ones they've already got. It hasn't a kind of a humble brag a little bit, but the ones I've sent out so far, the data hasn't been very useful because it's been, I can't kill this thing. I don't know what to tell you. Nothing's broke yet. I'll let you know if it does. But that's...
I'll put it through the paces.
Excellent. Drag it behind the truck on the way there. My test one looks like I've been bouncing it down the road behind the van. But always looking for more data, more compare and contrast. So, do you have like group colors or anything?
I have a group logo.
Group logo?
Yeah.
All right. I can print these bad boys in any color, obviously. One of the groups out in the Dakotas, their thing is orange. So this is one of the shells that I wasn't super happy with. So I ended up printing it again, but I keep it as a color idea. Very, very much we're getting into spoopy season. Big orange like that is really popular. Also, you're not going to lose this in the woods. You could see this across somebody's yard, no problem. And that's pretty much why they wanted it, because they kept leaving gear out. Like, you're not going to leave this. You're gonna see that as you're driving away. If you've got a color scheme,
our colors are pretty much just black and white, So
okay,
yeah.
I definitely have white, and we can figure something out with the logo too.
That'd be awesome. I would love that.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So that's really cool. But like I said, I really do. When I was talking to you back in Eau Claire, where did we decide this was? Eau Claire.
Eau Claire.
We were having a discussion before the show, and I told him that Eau Claire, Janesville, and La Crosse I get mixed up, even though one of them is at the bottom of the state, and I never know where I am. So yeah, Eau Claire. But when we were talking there, like I said, I really did like your design with that, and that's amazing. Like you test it and went through all that rigor with it, because nowadays, no matter what you buy, if it's a television, if it's a washer, or refrigerator, whatever, it's built to be replaceable. And it is so refreshing to have somebody say, I'm going to make this thing to last you, and this is the last one you're ever going to need, and that is so much better than having to buy a new piece of equipment every couple months because it's always breaking down and stuff. So that I got to commend you on that you've gone the opposite way and really taken that as something really important. So
thank you.
Yeah,
it's funny you mentioned refrigerators. If I got my camera off, in my house here, my main refrigerator is a 1949 General Electric. For that same reason, spent $500 on a new fridge. 2 years later, irreplaceably busted.
Mm-hmm.
I can get in and replace capacitors on boards and stuff. It was just absolutely shot. So out the door went that, and this 70-year-old fridge that I've had no maintenance requirement, nothing to do except clean it off and plug it in, and it hums right along and doesn't use any more electricity than the newer ones.
That's
so
just...
I try to bring that to the paranormal space as well.
No, absolutely. I mean, I keep telling people, like vehicles and stuff. Right now, if my car goes out, I'm going to buy myself an old vehicle that doesn't have a computer in it, because I have a 1974 hearse, and I'm going to start driving that thing around. It's going to suck gas mileage, but it is going to be a lot easier to fix. So
for sure,
install in the engine of that thing. So
my workhorse vehicle is a minivan, 90s minivan.
Yep.
And fuel injected, so you don't have to worry about the carburetors, but anything that goes wrong is right on the surface. My parents still drive their 2000 Saturn. They bought brand new, 45 miles to the gallon. Absolutely nothing to go wrong. It needs new wheel bearings every 200,000 miles. They're on their third set.
Nice.
They're well over 500,000 miles on that thing. But I can work on the old stuff. Obviously, that ambulance needs a blood, sweat, and tears sacrifice 2-3 times a season in order to make it work.
If you're just tuning in, this is the ambulance again for anybody. This thing is amazing. So that's what we're talking about. I love it. That's why I had to have it in here. I thought it was cool. So anybody that's just tuning in, now you get to see this thing. Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So moving on here. The REM pod isn't the only thing that you've designed, made. What else you got cooking up?
Right. So as soon as the REM pod came out, I started going to these different events, and people would come up. Have you seen this thing before? What can you do with this? And one of the most recent was the dead bells.
Mm.
And I know places like Ghost Stop, they do their own kind of dead bell where it's just another REM pod. It's using those electromagnetic theremin kits. But that's not what the dead bell started out as. The idea was it was a motion sensor. And in order to explain that a little better, I'll grab one of the sensors. So that's these little guys, these PID sensors. And it's literally just a tiny little motion sensor in there. If you have one of those outdoor floodlights, that's what those use. I don't know who came up with it or what the original deal was, but every one of them I've ever seen just doesn't work. It doesn't work right, or it doesn't work at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I found a lot of the reason, I'm going to get kind of in the weeds with this a little bit, but the reason is those PID sensors are meant to stay on for an extended amount of time, 30 seconds, a minute, and then shut off and have a short window in which they won't trigger, and then they reset, and then they're ready to be triggered again. So if you're doing something with a bell and asking questions, you got to wait a minute between questions. You don't get any feedback that it's ready to go again. And if you're sitting in front of it, any movement of yours is going to set it off. They don't explain this. They don't explain how it works, why it works. There's no operating instructions. They're happy to take your money and hand you this fun looking wooden box with a bell on top, and you got to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
You can't do good science if A, you don't know how your stuff works, and B, it doesn't work. Very limited use case for that. So I've got a friend who knows enough Chinese to help me dig through Alibaba and these component places. This is a PID sensor, the only one on the market that's adjustable. It's made for manufacturers to stick in their retail devices and adjust to their liking. So I turn the amount of time it's on all the way down. It's like 1 or 2 seconds. And then I turn the time that it needs to relay off. So right away, it's ready to hit again. Like I said, it's 2 to 3 seconds between. Now, how all these things work to actually hit the bell is with a little solenoid. So when that hits, the electricity goes through it, ding, it physically hits the bell. That's rough when it's staying on for 30, 40 seconds because that solenoid is activated the entire time. I don't have it here. It's probably a dick move to show off other people's stuff. So, but I was asked to fix a couple from this other group, and it's all like hot glued in there and like with these rough holes cut out and stuff. But this is one of the solenoids that I use. It's low voltage enough where I don't have to do a bunch of shenanigans, but they're glued into the case. So I 3D designed and printed this little solenoid holder, and it sits inside the bell and screws down through the holes. I've actually got one of my dead bell initial designs here, and I'll pull the top of the bell off. You can see that the solenoid, this is probably not amazing view, but you can see that the solenoid sits right inside the bell and is bolted down through the top of the case, holding both the bell and the solenoid together. So this is rock solid. This isn't going anywhere. You can drop that and it's always going to hit. And it hides under the bell. The bells are like $1.50 on Amazon. I had no idea they were so cheap. Part of making these things is repeatability. So I found these boxes. They've got Tree of Life on the top. That ends up getting the bell drilled through it for the pagan folks who are really into that kind of thing. And then obviously blank inside for these. But again, with the 3D printing and modeling, you can see a pattern here. The battery pack, and then if I got one sitting here, there's a little relay that sits in here. Everything is accessible. You can see exactly what it's doing, exactly what's going on. And that relay just helps work out some voltage issues, so you get a good hard ding. Again, really hard to find the exact correct voltages for this stuff. Thank you to my friend who speaks Chinese and could help me actually find the exact right stuff. You open up other ones and everything's just kind of in there and glued down, and wires are twisted together and soldered together. So I wanted to make sure there was a good presentation on all these. So if you needed to open something up for some reason, you can pull the whole thing out, look at the wiring in the back, and see if something happened or if you're just curious as to how they work. So I'm really confident at this point that I have put the dead bell together in a way that not only keeps the original premise of having a motion sensor, but also in a way that's useful and repeatable and investigation rugged. Like everything I try to do. This one's not quite done yet. I've got the holes drilled out for the sensor and the switch, but yeah, this one's not quite ready to go. but the technology is solid and there. And again, a couple $100 for these things usually. I make those for 50. I'm gonna be selling them for 60. Just not and free shipping. Because you look at the price on something and, oh, okay, yeah, I can afford that, and then shipping, comes out from left field. So I never charge shipping on anything. Sometimes that ends up biting me if somebody in the middle of a Hawaiian volcano wants one and they gotta helicopter it into them or something. That bites me. But I'd rather not have people sneak up prices, be surprised by prices. God, yeah, that's been the big thing lately, is working on those dead bells.
So how come, like, you kind of mentioned that you wanted to go with the motion sensor back to the way it originally was, but why that instead of the EMF trigger?
Because we've already got REM pods, and they're exactly what they need to be. And if you want to trigger off of EMF, you've got the REM pod. Or there's some fellas out there doing some really cool stuff with toys, where they're building REM pods into toys as trigger objects.
Mm-hmm.
But the more different ways of triggering, the better. And I figured if I could find a way to make this motion sensor work, that would be a really good addition to the arsenal, another way to come at it.
Could you, if somebody wanted, could you make a dead bell with different types of triggers?
Absolutely.
So, EMF trigger, or like the shadow detector, which would probably be basically the motion sensor anyway, but
interesting. Yeah, these, as long as whatever it gives out in this form factor, in this way, as long as it gives out some kind of voltage when it triggers, I can take that voltage, buck it up, and have it hit the solenoid.
Awesome.
And I'm not afraid to tell you if something isn't going to work and explain why. So if somebody's got a really crazy trigger, I definitely evaluate it, look at it, figure out what it's doing, and if I can actually make it trigger somewhat usably. I can't think of any examples right now of ones that don't work, but if it's coming out of my lab, it's something that's been deeply thought about. So if you got any ideas, if anybody listening has any ideas, I am all ears, and we can definitely work together to make a really good piece of equipment. And hey, if it gives off some voltage, we can definitely use these boxes and these setups.
Very cool. I know the reason I ask is I know my mom has been looking at the dead bell, and as you said, we do as I said in the beginning of the show, we do the paranormal tours of the Gentlemen's Club and stuff, and we have a lot of groups come through with different equipment, and I get a chance to watch all their equipment and stuff, and I have found and heard nothing but bad reviews on these dead bells. And but my mom wanted one, so I'm looking at seeing. We'll be in touch after this weekend. Like I said, I gotta leave and do stuff, but I will talk to her this weekend and see.
Sounds good. They're so cool. That wooden box with the bell, and it just seems to ding on its own. It's really cool TV stuff. It's very fun. These things are very photogenic. Yep, and it's a trigger object. Yeah. And the people who put these together have really cool ornate boxes, and they're doing some really, really fun stuff that looks great. But I'm not so much, everything I do looks good because I'm always thinking of YouTube, of filming. But it's more about the usability. We're trying to do science. And so if it looks good but doesn't work for anything, then it's for entertainment purposes only. And you might as well be using your phone and using the scary noises for everything.
Lee Warner says, gets your attention, and most old spirits recognize a bell. And that's absolutely true.
Yep, that is a great point. So many times I hear, here, come talk to the camera in my hand. And it's like, this guy died in 1850. What the hell is a camera? We're not even sure that they can see us, much less whatever doohickeys we're holding. One of the big things in the book I've been writing about proper investigation protocol reminds readers that you got to come at it on their level.
Mm-hmm.
If they died in 1930, they probably know what a radio is. Mm-hmm. They probably seen some of the radio casts, or at least the talkie picture, the moving pictures. So you got to come at it from that way. Hey, I know this thing looks real small, but we get this back to the boys at the lab, and they'll be able to put it on tape and hear your voice. We're down here from the newspaper. We want to see who else is here. This little doohickey, oh boy. You come at it from a way they might understand.
Yep. I love the people that walk in and they're like, hey, can you go over and touch the REM pod?
What the hell is that?
Yeah, like I'm just sitting there going, man, do you even know what you're doing? The little thing with the red light and the antenna. There, now we're getting somewhere.
Yep.
No, that's understandable. That's okay, but anyway, moving on. So we were talking about also like some of these phone things and apps and stuff that we don't like, right? I agree with you. I'm 100% there. But you have a new piece of software that you've designed. You want to tell us all about that?
Okay, so everyone's fairly familiar with the SLS cams at this point, using the old Xbox 360 Connect, which I'm still working on the Xbox One version, but the drivers are really terrible. The drivers are terrible. So if you have one, or if you've used one, the software is absolutely garbage. Everybody, including the folks on the big TV shows, they're using the software development kit and the custom, or the reference programs inside there. Mm-hmm. When you download the development kit, it gives you examples of how to use the different features of the camera. And one of them is the skeleton maker with a background. Everybody's like, oh, good enough. I'll just load this up and we'll just use that. And then they complain that, man, we can't record this. It eats up battery life. It doesn't work real well. The frames per second, the frame rate's really low. And nobody's gone out and really tried to create some software for this, when that's what the development kit is for, is making software. So I sat down over a weekend and came up with this. So I don't know how long I'll be able to hold this up, or if that's good TV or not.
We can see it.
So it is just an executable program. It's a couple megabytes in size. And you can see the camera in its own window, and the controls to the right or left there, depending which way you're looking.
Yep.
Both there's a few different reasons that I did that. So with the control side of things, you can see that there's a record button, start record, stop record. All that does is record the screen. Not the desktop, not the controls, just that piece of the screen. And it drops it down into an MP4 file, which is really, really important for review later, so you don't have a bunch of weird crap going on. You can, obviously, the niceties, you can choose where it goes and all that. But why, one of the first questions was, why an entirely separate screen? Well, a lot of people use OBS.
Yep.
And OBS allows you to capture a specific window. So if you've got just this as its own window, you don't have to capture all of this as well. You just get what's on the screen. And that was one of the first things that was mentioned as oh man, it'd be nice if I could just load that into OBS without having all the extra stuff going on. So it gets its own window. That can also be moved, and this is something that is still very experimental. This little guy, it's a projector, little battery powered projector. You line this up with your SLS cam and you project the output of the SLS cam back onto the wall where it's pointing. You know, you got it lined up because everything is all together. Now you see on the software, it says show color feed. You turn that off and the background disappears. All you're left with is the green skeleton if it pops up. So now you've got the output projecting back onto itself, onto the wall, and then you shut that off. All you're left with is the green skeleton. So when that skeleton shows up, it is projected to exactly where it is on the wall. So you don't have to rely on somebody looking at the screen and going, hey, there's something right next to you. You see it right next to you. You see it move back and forth or up and around, and you can interact with it because you're visually seeing it projected onto the wall. That is some extra hardware, and I'm still working on getting it just right and working on a mount so that projector will sit and just be sighted in right every time. But I really think that this is the first time talking about it, that is going to really change not only how we use the SLS, but also how we interact with it and how we record it. That makes some really compelling television.
Oh yeah.
When you can like, oh, stand there and, oh, is there anything? What's going on? But if you can, holy crap, this thing, I could see this standing right next to me, and you can interact with it and play with it and figure things out. That's just entertaining right there. Like you're doing good, entertaining science.
That is amazing. Now, let me ask you this, because I know you're a tech guy and we got to figure these things out together. So how do you compensate for the size variable? So like, let's say you're in a room, like a 10-foot room, and this thing is in the front of the room. So it's really close, and you're projecting it obviously all the way to the back of the room onto a solid surface. So this thing is going to, instead of being like a 3-foot child, is going to be a 7-foot monster in the back on the wall.
That is one of the things that we're still trying to work out, is how to change that. There's no real good, nothing in the API, in the development kit for changing that size relative to depth. So that really is one of the big things. Luckily, with this 360 camera, unluckily, because it doesn't help much, there's not much depth there. There's only 2 or 3 stages of depth.
True, yeah.
So if you look at a lot of the recordings, it kind of looks like it's always back on the wall anyway. There's nothing really super forward. That's because the 360 wasn't really meant to do depth. It was supposed to be a 2-axis thing. But that is absolutely a consideration. If something is forward, it will project larger.
Yeah, that's a good point though, because your SLS camera only goes out, I want to say maybe 10, maybe 15 feet to pick up that range. So I think then part of the implementing it in a investigating scenario, you would set up that scenario where you have a flat wall or something, or the background of it is only 10, 15 feet away. And you would kind of compensate for that size variable, because whatever you're looking at the whole wall, and you're seeing it on the wall. So
Right,
yeah.
right. And that feature, that piece of it, is really only meant to be used if somebody else is also in front of the camera.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You really wouldn't use this if you were just setting it up looking down a hallway, and with nobody around.
Mm-hmm.
So very highly experimental, and something that the future will glean more use from when we figure out some of these quirks. And it might just be, like you said, working around it, know the limitation, know the software, and overcome that with a physical solution.
I love that. I there's a couple things that I hate. I hate spirit boxes. I think there's a lot of audio pareidolia. You hear what you want, and I really like the Estes method. I think it takes a lot out of there. And I really don't like the SLS camera, because people use them and they don't know how to use them. They walk around with them, they carry them around places, and you're constantly, it's not made for that. It's made to sit in one spot and be used. And I think that your technology that you're working on here is fixing my dislike of the SLS. It's putting that in a stationary position that you have to have it in, and it's giving you that the ability to interact, like you said, real time with whatever's there. Because as you said too, you're not going to put your device looking down a hallway and have someone monitor it. It's a waste of what it is. It's going to be there to have that personal interaction, that's one-on-one of somebody saying, hey, can you come here? Can you touch my hand? Can you do this? And have that interaction. I think that's absolutely taking that of knowing what your equipment does, how to use it, and using it for that purpose. So.
Absolutely. I don't think there's anything wrong with leaving it set up as a stationary camera, especially if you're in and off a room off to the side. You might be able to see things coming in and out. But yeah, definitely leaving it in one spot is the most important part. I don't see it sitting here because the previous tablet broke. But I had put together a thing where the tablet and the camera and the guts are all in one piece. And I purposefully made it difficult to carry. Because I would loan this thing out and people would be like this, trying to carry it around with them. Like, no, that's not what it's made for. There's a, I guess not in that. In the bottom of most cameras, there's that threaded hole, so you can stick it on a tripod. Mm-hmm. That is very brightly colored in the bottom of my SLS setup. And the bottom is flat. It is, everything screams, set me down in one place. Because it is difficult to carry around. It's not supposed to be set there and plugged in somewhere if you at all possibly can. That's the other thing with the SLS cams, is they just suck juice. They suck power down. But this software,
that, I don't do it with a tablet. I have it on my laptop. So the laptop has to be plugged into the wall. The SLS sits in front of it. You can aim it and do whatever you want with it. And it runs like you said, the OBS screen recorder software right there too. So it saves it to the hard drive. Gotcha. So you cannot walk around with my SLS either.
That is a great segue into the last piece of the software. It's free. It's free. It's ready to go. VortexParanormal.com. Click on the SLS link. Download it. You download it. Put it on any Windows machine. It just runs on any Windows machine. It's super lightweight, and it's a generic .NET program. So it doesn't matter what version of Windows you got. It doesn't matter what machine it's on. As long as it's running Windows, you're golden. I've been working on an Android platform version, but that starts really getting weird as far as drivers for the whole thing. But as of right now, any laptop, window Intel based, Windows tablet, anything like that, plug in and go, and the program just works.
It's awesome. Now, let me ask you this, as far as your software goes, with the OBS and the developer kit software, I have problems with that doing live stream. So I can bring up shared screen and stuff on here and stream it through StreamYard, which is what we're on right here. Can I do that with yours?
Absolutely. The window, that secondary window is its own named object on the screen. So if you've got this up and you open up OBS, you can stream just that window.
Awesome. Is it the stupidly reversed like it is on the developer software, or is it straight to straight?
That was a flag I had to flip in the software to get it to flip correctly.
So yours
that was it
correctly.
Yep.
Awesome. Look at that. Look at you.
Yeah. And with if you're live streaming, of course, that's its own thing. But you said with your laptop, you would set that down and use OBS to record it.
Yep.
No need to waste the battery. This just records. You can hit start recording. When you hit stop, it shoots out an MP4 file, and you've got just your output.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I tell you what, when I get back from this weekend, because that's all I can think about right now, we're gonna be having a long discussion, me and you, and we are going to test out that software because I really like that. One of the things I wanted to do, we do like live Halloween specials and stuff every year for Caps, and I wanted to do the SLS as one of the feeds last year, and it would not do it. I could not get it to work, and with the programming and stuff. So definitely have to give that a new try this year. So absolutely.
And I look around looking for my other box, but I just don't see it. You talked about spirit boxes.
Yeah.
And how those are kind of iffy, a lot of audio pareidolia. One of my big questions about spirit boxes was, how do you know something's not just stopping the seek function on the radio for a second? Because that's how seek functions work in radios. It stops on active stations for just a little bit so you can hear, oh, yeah, I like that, and you can hit stop. That function is disabled in the spirit box radios. But there's no way to disable that momentary stop. You can keep it from stopping altogether, but it's still going to hitch every once in a while. I've got a video out on this as well. I created, there's a lot of small radios, 8 small radios. Each one is tuned. Hopefully you've got, wherever you're at, you've got less than that many radio stations active. You tune each one to a currently active radio station. That's all piped in through USB to a recording software, and it records every active channel at the same time synced to your spirit box on another channel. So they're all being recorded all at the same time. So if you get something going, yes, on your spirit box, you can go back and see exactly what was on the radio on every single active channel at that time. So it either tells you, okay, something was saying yes on this channel, it probably picked that up for a second, or it's incredibly compelling. Hey, none of the active radio stations had this word on it at this time. We can count out those stations. That's something I've been working on like 4 or 5 years. Still, expense issues and reliability issues. So I'm not quite ready to throw that out into the world yet. But when you mentioned spirit boxes, I wanted to throw that out there. At some point, the tech is so good. Yeah, I can't improve on the like SB7.
Mhm.
And nothing I can do there. That is some really custom, really good hardware. But what I can do is help check it.
Mhm.
I can create things that help solidify the data and help check against these common questions.
Very cool, man. Well, I would love to stay and chat with you, but as I said, I have to leave for Illinois here, so I gotta wrap up here at the top of the hour for my sake. But it's been awesome. If anybody has any last minute questions for Johnny before we wrap the show up, throw them in the comments section here, and we will get them in. Lee just says that you are a genius, so hopefully your head still fits through the doorway after this episode. But, that's
Right.
awesome. Where can people find you again? We got everything in the show notes, but remind everybody where they can get your equipment, download the software, and order some awesome gear.
Gotcha. Johnny Vortex on Facebook and Instagram. I'm always down to have a conversation and learn some new stuff. VortexParanormal.com. Not terribly well updated right now. Still getting that going, but you can buy a VIP, the REM pod off of there, and you can download the software, the SLS software from there. After Etsy like blacklisted me, somebody went through, whoever owns REM pod, the trademark to that, went through and cleared Etsy. So I haven't sold a darn thing on Etsy in probably 6 months after selling 2 or 3 of them a week. But it's still up there on Etsy at Vortex if you want to go that route. I'm a little safer, a little more guarantee there, and that's just fine. And Vortex Paranormal on YouTube, although I think there's only like one entire thing set up. We're doing, yeah, we're the whole idea is to create somebody copyrighted, but we're in a totally different thing called Ghost Gear. I'm calling it Ghost Gear Parapod. And it's these short bites, 10, 15-minute episodes of, hey, what is a REM pod? How do they work? What are some of the weird shenanigans with them? And I go through a piece of gear every episode, cuts down nice into shorts and stuff. So what's this piece about? You can go in and get a short little blurb on how it worked, how it was used, where it was started, who invented it, and how they work. After this summer, I was in EMT school all summer. I just graduated here a couple of weeks ago, so now I'm full-fledged EMT. I'm feel like I'm a little more allowed to drive that ambulance now. But I'm hoping to really get things fired up on the YouTube channel and start doing some debunkings of popular videos and getting that ghost gear off the ground.
That's awesome. That is awesome. You got any events coming up? Are you going to be at any other conventions or anything, selling equipment and talking to people?
There will be one just after Christmas, but I'm not super in tune with the things that are going on in the area. Especially if I'm taking that van to something, I got like a 2-3 hour drive limit.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm just showing up in the minivan, I can make it anywhere. But no, if you've got any ideas or any recommendations for places for me to show up, I would absolutely love to. I just don't hear about these things. There we go.
May 9th, 2026. There you go. Capcom, Wisconsin. Right. There you go.
Absolutely.
Well, awesome, man. It is absolutely see, even Lee even told you got to come to Wisconsin CapsCon. There you go.
All right.
But yeah, so I will be in touch after this weekend, like I said. But so awesome talking to you. I mean, we haven't even gotten into any like you obviously do investigations, right? Like you go out and, yeah. We didn't even get to talk about any of that stuff. So we will definitely have you on board and stuff and have you back, and we'll chat more, man. That's been great.
Right on. I'd love to be back. Thank you for having me and taking your time for some nobody like me.
Oh man,
some no-name fella.
No, I think that your gear is really cool. Seeing it in person and chatting with you when I met you, and I think that everyone should take a chance and look at what you got, because like I said, not bragging or trying to inflate your head or anything, but I'm so sick of people that make disposable stuff. You know, everything
Absolutely.
is cheaply made. Get it done, get it made. And you know, your REM pod from somebody that uses them all the time, and that they break, they're, you know, constantly need repair and stuff. And it's so nice to have something that doesn't break, that has that durability and stuff finally. So highly recommend your stuff, man. So
thank you.
Awesome.
All right. Have a good trip. Illinois.
Hopefully I will. Yeah, Illinois. And then Iowa next weekend. So
oh man.
Go, man. But awesome. I look forward to chatting with you. We'll be in touch, and take care, man.
Take care.
All right, guys, that is our show for this week. Thank you all for tuning in. Go check out Johnny Vortex's equipment at vortexparanormal.com, I believe. And that's in the show notes. So if I'm wrong, check it out in the show notes. The links for the Facebook, YouTube, and website are all there for you to click on and check out and get yourself your own Ghost Bell and VIP REM pod. So good. We are definitely have to have Johnny back on here to talk more about his paranormal experiences, because he is an investigator as well. And we didn't even talk about any of that. So if you're interested, head on over, check his stuff out, give him a share, give him a like, give him a subscription on YouTube and all the social medias. Show some love, show some support. While you're out there, head on over to the Untold Radio Network and give us some love too. Thank you all for tuning in this week. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share all things here on the Untold Radio Network, and get that show out as well. And all things cryptids, anomalies, and the Paranormal Society. If you want to support me and everything that we do here at CAPS, go to wisconsincaps.com, and you can find all the information on where we're going to be and when, so you can meet us and, I don't know, see me in person, whatever. Anyway, take care, guys. I will see you later, and I'm off to Illinois. Remember, we're all part of the Paranormal Spectrum. Take care, be well, and I'll see you next week.
You seem to know